Hey everybody, Journey Through the Nebula, Harry Truitt. Today I'm going to be speaking about hateful intellectuals. This is quite an interesting one. I thought it appropriate in the current times. Everyone seems to have become what they think is an intellectual in these times. And I think it's because they feel the need to, because the situation's so uncertain. There's so much change in the air. It's very tempting to proclaim yourself an intellectual. And I think the attitude, the energy of the hateful intellectual is one that we all, most of us at least, slip into at some point. It's sort of like the critiquer, the one who says, like the part of ourselves that is, no, you're bad for this. And it's the part of us that looks to other people and says, they're terrible for this. And it's this sort of intellectualism that is based upon opposing in a very strong, almost spiteful, virulent kind of way. And like, it's easy to try and joust back. It's easy to try and say, well, you're being rather hateful there, you know, you're not being in alignment, you're not being wholesome and happy and healthy and all of these things. You've become this kind of monster, and you try to point it out in this kind of nice way where you say, hi, well, you know, you seem kind of, you know, are you happy thinking that kind of thing? But, you know, however subtly we try to portray that to other people, it tends to lead to a strengthening of the hate, the position that the intellect of that person has taken, because the intellect has almost taken them over. Something within the intellect, they've felt sort of hurt and afraid and angry, and then the intellect has hijacked them and is working as a defense rather than as a constructor of good. You know, in the same way that if a tiger came up to you and you had a big spear, you know, you'd be waving that spear at the tiger. But at the same time, if you're sat there with your tribe and you're waving a spear at them, perhaps not the best approach. It's a fear-based response. It's a protection-based response, and that's what we have to understand. Is if people go into that stage of fear, of antagonism, you're the bad guy, you're the one who's evil, you're the one who's wrong. They're afraid. Remember that, and they're a human being underneath all of that. So, through my own experience, and I've been reading some stuff and going into my own sort of unconscious and exploring the parts of me that have that edge to them, I have been learning about how approaching the bitterness, if you approach the bitterness with sort of this openness, then you are able to create the most beneficialness out of it. Then you're able to extract the most usefulness you can out of it. There's certain people in my life, not many, but certain ones, family, that very bitter, very caught up, particularly in this whole situation, but just generally incredibly bitter. And it's not helpful, it's not healthy for them and it's not particularly healthy for anyone else. But I have learned, if you try to counteract through force, not force, but even directly trying to counteract in a way that's forward but not forceful. But if you move forward and you try and say, well, have you thought about it like this, then instantly, if you're in any way disagreeing, then you're the enemy, because that's the resolution they have at that point of time. You know, they can't see any more detail than friend and enemy. Either you're with me or you're against me, that is a logical fallacy. That's not a healthy way to think about anything, really. But that is the state that they're in. So you have to remember that. So if you even contradict them in the most subtle way, it's very likely that you will get an explosion and just a strengthening of what they believe. So you can, however, come at them depending on the person. If they're a person who you know can have a more rational side, in a sort of like a calm, collected sort of rationality that has a kindness to it, or you know that they have this other side to them that they may be able to get in contact with if you suggest something politely. If you try to seek out the things within what they're saying that you agree with, and then say, but perhaps I don't think that these things are helpful, then perhaps, if they are the sort of person who has that capacity, you will be able to extract some benevolence out of that person and help them see from hopefully a more compassionate angle. Not that it's your obligation, but if you particularly want to do that, if there's someone close to you and if it feels important for you to do. For example, yes, like that thing that you said, I can understand why you'd feel like that, and and I totally agree that we should do da da da. But, when you said this, it did make me think this, and perhaps that would work in the right cases. Though, in the cases that seem lost, and there are those cases that seem lost, the way that you can approach them is you approach them with this open acceptance, not agreeing with their ideas, not saying, yeah, I really understand and I really agree with that, but sort of like you're quietly skeptical, but you're listening to the intent of the person, you're listening to the heart of the person, and what you're doing is you are doing an act of rebuttal to them in a way that you in the way that you hold this energy that is an energy of kindness, that is this energy of sort of a more compassionate. So you're not saying to them, well, I disagree with you. You're just not matching their energy of hostility. You are just saying your position in the way that you approach them. So if you're able to anchor kindness within yourself, compassion within yourself, and then this person is going off, rah, 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 you can go, okay, yeah, okay. And you listen and you try to be very sort of soft, and you try to be this space where the chaos can dissolve, where that mania can dissolve. And it's very easy to get caught up in your own chaos. We each have many different parts to us, and if you are consistently having difficulty with someone, or just difficulty with the general energy, then you can look within yourself and say, what's this part of me that's spiteful and angry and finding this difficulty with this situation or whatever, then you can look to find this part of you, and you can ask your unconscious, hey, can you bring this up? Can you show me this part of me? So that comes up into your consciousness, and then you look at that and you go, okay, that's a part of me. So now let's have a look. And then you say, okay, tell me about this character, unconscious, and then so it shows you different things, different factors. And then you can say, okay, cool. Now, what do I do about this? You know, how do I grow? How do I learn from this? And, you know, how do I approach this character? And your unconscious will show you how to approach this benevolently for you if you ask it in the right way with genuine openness and perspective. Yeah, it's quite a foggy day, kind of interesting. It's a very moody day, very sort of strange energy. Going into the forest here, it's quite nice. I may meet someone, so I may just vanish. I'll use this time to promote myself. If you would like one-to-one sessions where I can help you go into your unconscious, find out about your personal energy, the personal energetics going within you, and help you to bring that up and to see what is going psychologically with you, and being able to move through that and to be able to restructure that so that the psychological functionings can be rewired isn't quite the right word. It's too sort of masculine and sort of unkind, but sort of redeveloped a relationship, sort of brought these things up to try and bring them together in harmony and care and compassion. This is great. I like this place. So yeah, do I have anything else to say? I've got a Facebook page, Journey Through the Nebula, and a Facebook group which is quite cool, called Nexus of Souls. It's about the individual, you, the individual. It's about everyone's expressing themselves as they are and about them, rather than us subscribing to some sort of belief that we collectively have. So it's generally for spiritual people, fringe dwellers, that kind of group of people, but it's not sort of exclusive to any particular ideology or idea of the way things work. It's a place to explore that with each other, with like joy and respect for each other. Is there anything else? I think we're cool. All right, guys. It's nice to see you. Journey through the nebula and all that stuff. All right.